Okay, cool. Well, I want to welcome everyone to our March state call. And we got a lot to talk about tonight, a lot of exciting things, and I'm really happy to bring you all on and give you an update on what's going on. Now, we're going to try something new. Whenever someone is speaking, and there will be some times during our call tonight where we'll ask people to speak, we're going to ask them if they have the capability to turn the camera on so you can see who's speaking. So we're going to try that for the first time this evening. So let's get started here with our agenda for this evening. We'll start off with covering, of course, our vision statement and mission statement as we normally do. And got a little change to introduce to you on our mission statement. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into it. But we're going to concentrate this evening on grassroots, our grassroots efforts and grassroots growth, because we got a lot of things going on in that area. So we're going to kind of focus on that area in this call tonight. As part of that, we're going to talk, of course, we're going to introduce some new leaders to you, some new district captains that have come in, as well as some support people. And we're going to try a little something different tonight. We've got some new district captains that have completed Module 2 of their training. So we're going to introduce those to you tonight and have them, if they have that capability tonight, have them turn on their cameras so you can see them. Okay. So then we're going to look at the petition tracking summary as we normally do. Rachel's going to give us an update on the training program. Just really thrilled about what's going on in our training program, and I hope you'll understand when after she gives you the update. Then I'll update you on our districts and district and region status, and going to give you show you a new organizational chart for the state of Indiana, and talk a little bit about it. Then we'll get a legislative update from our legislative liaison, Paul Phillips. And hopefully, if Ken Kashuba, our state communications coordinator, if he's made it to his hotel room in time, he's going to come on and give us an update on the communications team. Ken's on the road this evening, but he said he might be able to join us later on, so we'll see how that works out. And then we'll get a closing quote for you, like I normally do. So we'll close out with a quote, and of course, any questions that anyone may have, we'll try to address those. So, all right, let's get started. Then our vision statement is still the same, and that's to build a Hoosier grassroots community of citizens and legislators dedicated to the constitutional concept of self-governance. Still our vision. That's where we want to be someday. Don't know when we'll get to that point, but that's where we want to be at some point in the future. All right? Now, our mission statement contains certain goals that we want to try to achieve that will take us in that direction of achieving that vision statement. And the change I wanted to point out to you here is we've changed the date that we want to have these accomplished, and that date is now December 31st of 2018. Now, I changed that date for two reasons. Number one, I wanted to get us onto a calendar year cycle here, so it just so happens that we started this whole thing last year about the 1st of July, so that's why we started it at that point in time. But I want to get us onto a calendar year cycle. And plus, I thought, given the big hit that we've taken this year with the loss of so many district captains, that I felt it was it would be helpful for us to take some more time to work on these particular goals, and then we'll look at 2019 as a complete year. But the goals haven't changed. We want to still fill all the support positions, and we're making good headway on that, by the way. Region captains, not doing so good so far, but we got some good things in the works. 70% of our district captain positions, we're making good progress, and I'm going to show you how the kind of progress we've been making. Again, strengthen the legislator relationships. We got some things to introduce to you tonight on that. Grassroots growth, I'll be showing that to you. We're making good progress. We got to do more, but we're still making good progress. And then, of course, educational meetings, reaching out and educating our supporters and the general public about Article 5. So let's get started. We're going to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about grassroots tonight. And just so you remember, our grassroots team is comprised of our grassroots coordinator, George Ward, and on the grassroots coordinator team, we have Rachel Kessler and Tammy Scarborough. Tammy's in her district captain training right now, or in that training program, so she'll be joining us later on. So, George, are you on tonight? I don't see George here. I don't know. George, is that you coming on?
Nope, this is Mindy Light. Sorry, I had some difficulty, but I'm here.
Okay, Mindy, thank you.
Thank you.
Hang in there. We'll be getting to you very shortly.
No worries.
Okay, well, George couldn't make it tonight, evidently. But I wanted George to talk about our recruitment team, our DC recruitment team. We've got a number of some district captains on that team, and we're focusing on the districts that did not get called, where no calls were made to those districts in phase 1 of our DC recruitment program, so our DC recruitment campaign. So we've gathered a team together now, and we're now making calls into the districts that were not called in phase 1. So now we're in what we call phase 2, and we are making headway. And you'll see as we get to when we get to introducing some new leaders here, we are making headway. So just so you know, George is still working the follow-up tool. We're basically clearing people off of that follow-up tool, putting them onto the district dashboards and working from the district dashboards. So, and George is also then handling, George pretty much focuses on the district captain applicants that hit the leaders management tool. That's a report that he looks at every day, and I look at it about every day for any applicants that we get for any other positions other than district captains. So anybody have any questions about what our grassroots team is doing? Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, all right. Well, I want to get into introducing to you some new leaders that we have that have joined us. And I'm going to first, these here are new district captains that have come on board since just in the month of March, and that are now starting and are involved in their training, district captain training. So, as a matter of fact, it's kind of hard for me to stay on top of all the names. I think there's probably a name or two that have even since hit, but these are the last ones that I have record of. District 33 is Gary Moore. District 54, Luella Mozingo. District 38, Drake Brown. District 93, Susan Nichols. And District 99, Terrence Roselle. So, like I said, they are coming on now and starting their training. Now, I want to introduce to you some district captains that are in their training that have completed Module 2 of their training. And these are individuals then I would like to introduce to you tonight and have them just say a few words. I told them that we could not do long speeches because we have limited time, but just to say a few words. David Thornton, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. A few words.
Well,
That's a humor check.
You can actually say more than a few words if you want. Tell us, David, where you're from, what district you're in, and what brought you into Convention Estates.
I live in District 8. I live in Mishawaka, Indiana. I'm a Navy veteran, a Freemason, and a big talk radio fan. That's how I found out about the Convention Estates, listening to Mark Levin, Sean Hannity, and the rest of the cast of characters out there. And this is something that I'm really into, and I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth into it because it's something I truly believe in.
Good deal. Now, David, you serve. Your job is you service ATMs, right? And
yes, sir.
Isn't that pretty much it? And you're on the road right now?
I'm in Maryville, Indiana right now. I just arrived at the job site.
Okay. Is that your last one for the evening?
Probably not.
No?
I've been at it since 8 o'clock this morning. I'll be lucky if I get home by midnight.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
That's why I say sleep is an optional extra we have to purchase separately.
Okay. Well, David, thank you very much for coming on, and keep up the good work, my man.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Mindy.
Hi.
Can you turn your camera on?
Sure. That's not. There it is.
Are you on? Oh, there you are. Okay, good deal. All right.
My name's Mindy Like. I'm from the Crawfordville area. I'm District 41, and I wanted to have a voice in Washington. It seems like we don't anymore, so I'm really happy to be part of this cause.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad to have you, Mindy. Keep up the good work. Do you have a family or
I am a respiratory therapist. I'm married. Between us, we have 4 kids. They're all out of school. I'm 53, so I have grandkids now. I work 2 days a week, so I have time to do this, and it's nice to be at a place in life where I can have time to do something like this, you know.
Oh, good. Now, what kind of therapist are you, did you say?
Respiratory.
Oh, respiratory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do hospital work.
Okay. Well, good. Well, glad to have you, Mindy, and you keep up the good work. I hear good things about you.
Oh, that's good to hear. Thanks to you guys for this training. This training's amazing.
All right. Thank you. Okay. You can turn yourself off now. Next one is Larry Wee Wee. Larry, you got your camera on?
I do.
There he is. All right. All right.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about you.
You bet. Hello, I'm Larry Wee Wee. I'm from West Harrison, Indiana. That is in the extreme southeast corner of the state. about 25 miles out of Cincinnati, Ohio. So, you know, the far corner. I am a 30-year product supply manager at Procter & Gamble. I'm not quite wise enough to retire, so here I am. And I learned about this effort through the Sean Hannity show. But as I had my first conversation with Dale, I really tried to start an effort like this about 5 years before this one started, having reached the conclusion back in 2008 that this was exactly the kind of thing that we needed to to get our citizens back in control of this government and really get us back to our constitutional principles. So I'm excited as I can be that somebody has been more successful than me in getting it going, and very happy to join and be part of it.
All right. Good deal, Larry. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work, my man. Okay. Victor. I know you were there.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, I saved Victor for last.
I'm Victor.
Go ahead, Victor. I'm sorry.
My name's Victor Monroe. I'm with District 86 and kind of co-captain with Tim Heidenreich, and he's the one who actually contacted me when I first started looking into this, and we hit it off real well. We're both veterans from the U.S. Army, and so we had a lot in common there. And so, yeah, I was looking for some other way to serve my country besides the military. You know, I'd gotten out of that, and so I wanted to find a way to keep going with this, and found this program. I listened to Sean Hannity, and I thought, I want to check into these guys, and I was fascinated by the whole thing. I'm always on social media talking about things, so I thought, why not put your use where your mouth is, So I was looking forward to doing this. And I've been a medical technologist for 38 years, and right now I work at Urology of Indiana, and I work with do cancer studies for prostatic cancer and things like that. So I'm looking forward to keep this going and go as far as it'll take.
Okay, Victor, tell us about your military experience, please.
Well, I started off in the infantry, the mechanized infantry, 2nd Armored Division, Fort Hood, Texas, back in 1977 is when I first joined in, and then over to overseas and going, securing the borders of Czechoslovakia at that time, but I kept in the military for a long. After I got out, my 3 years, I decided to go ahead and join the reserves after I got out of college, and then I was like, I just kept going, and I spent the next 20 years just being in the reserves and the medical section of it, and I've always enjoyed that. So I kind of missed serving my country, and after I retired out of that, I was like, what am I going to do now? So here I am.
Okay, well, the reason I had Victor last here, well, no, he's not last. I've got another individual here, but like Victor said, he's going through the DC training, but in the meantime, we've also made Victor our Veterans Coalition Coordinator for the state. Given his military background and his interest in serving veterans, we've decided to make Victor our Veterans Coalition Coordinator. So I'm really glad and happy to have him on board. And we'll,
thank you.
As soon as you finish the district captain training, which will be excellent training for you to and for your endeavor as Veterans Coalition Coordinator. So glad to have you aboard, Victor. We got to talk sometime, Victor. I was also stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. So
oh yeah, Okay.
We'll have to talk about that.
No.
I was in 2nd Armored, so we'll talk about that sometime.
Well, us veterans got to stick together.
Yeah, we had.
I won't hold the Army against you guys, though.
Yes,
Squids had more fun.
Well, we appreciate that. My divisional commander was George's Patton III.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Victor. You can turn it off now.
Thank you.
The last person that I wanted to introduce to you is our new state media liaison. Nancy, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
There you are. Nancy's camera is not functioning correctly tonight, so we just have her audio. You want to tell us about yourself, please?
I live at this stage in Newcastle, Indiana, where I grew up. I actually am just in the process of selling a condo downtown Indianapolis, where I'd been for several years. I had actually seen the Convention of States on the next revolution a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and found it very interesting. I've gotten very involved politically in the last years. I've always been interested from the time I was in elementary school. I loved actually Richard Nixon. And so from that point on, I've always had an interest in politics, but my mom died a couple years ago, and some of the things I encountered in the medical field, I was just appalled at. I'm actually trained as a surg tech and was going to physician assistant school going on, and at this stage I decided I didn't want to. Last year about this time of year, I was actually in Washington, D.C., meeting with the head of CMS and attending some meetings out there, so I thought this is a way to, I believe definitely that people need a voice, and I think a lot of people are just very complacent and don't realize what's been happening and going on. And so I think with COS, hopefully we can educate a lot of people is what my hope is, to what's been happening and how the citizens are being left out and everybody else that's controlling the thing. The government is not looking out for our best interests. So like that's what got me excited when I saw COS on the next revolution.
All right. Very good. Well, we're awful glad to have you on board, Nancy. And Nancy's also going through the district captain training program, a modified version. And so once she gets through her training, then we'll put her in touch with our national media liaison, and so Nancy can go to work for us. All right. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you. I'm excited.
All righty. Okay, let's go on then to our tracking summary. And we started this last call in February, and for those of you that haven't seen this is how we measure the grassroots growth. And so I'll go through this, and because this is what we look at every month, but I just want to call your attention to the date changes up here at the top. And we're now looking at going to December 31st of this year. Okay? In our first column would be all the new petitions by region, all the new petition signers that came in the month of March. We had 1,171 new petition signers in the month of March. I really thought that we were going to set another new record in March. February was a record month for us, and I believe, I don't have the number handy, it was like 1,200 something, I remember. So we didn't beat it, but we came close in March. 1,171 petitions, and their leading region for the month of March was Region 8. So good going, and thank you for Region 8. Now, the second column gives you then the year-to-date, starting in from July 1 of 2017, the year-to-date number of petitions that have been signed in our state by region. Okay. Now I want to call your attention down here at the bottom. Our goal is to achieve 30,000 supporters in the state of Indiana by December 31st of 2018. Now, when we started this back in July of 17, we had about 15,000. So on the books, we needed another 15,000 to get to our 30,000. Well, here by region are the number of petitions that remain to be signed in order to achieve the additional 15,000, which would get us to the 30,000, okay? So statewide, we still need another 8,294 petition signers. But I think we're going to make a really good run at this, especially once we get all the new district captain trainees on board. All right. Now, here in each region, I've identified the leading districts for those regions and the number of petitions that were signed. And here we have, as far as leading the whole state for the month of March, we had two districts, District 4 and District 30, and those happen to be districts that are led by two new district captains that are in their training. So that's Marilyn Kligler and Alicia Caldwell. So anybody have any questions on our tracking summary here? Again, this is how we measure the grassroots growth in our state. Okay, let's then talk about our training program. And Rachel, you want to take it away? Turn your camera on if you would.
Okay. All right, so as far as where we are with the training program at this point, we have 32 people who are slotted to go through the training program. That includes existing district captains, new district captains, and some other support staff that Dale decided he wants to go through the training program. So out of the 32 people, I have 11 people so far who have completed Module 1, which is pretty good, and I have 4 people scheduled. So that the bad news of that is that I still have 17 people who have not scheduled. I don't think any of you are on this call, but if anybody's listening, please contact me and schedule your training module. Then I have 8 people that have completed Module 2. So it's a little bit slower than I had initially expected, which is a blessing and a curse, because I thought I was going to be inundated with like 6 people a day. But, you know, obviously we want to get people through the program so that they can get started, especially our new people. After Module 2, just for those of you who are not aware of this, what I left it up in the air to be flexible. What I'm finding is that our current district captains or experienced district captains are able to complete the first and second module in just one session because they don't really need the extra time to be introduced to Slack and the dashboard and all that, although I do leave open the option if they do need a second module. Everybody who's gone through Module 2 has now been passed off to Paul, and I've seen that he's been scheduling some groups to move on to Module 3. After that, and he can speak to that since he's on the call, they'll be passed on to George. I believe that George is going to be doing one-on-one grassroots training for the trainees, and then they will come back to me for the 5th module to wrap up and kind of, you know, that's a little bit up in the air as far as what the content is going to be. And overall, I think it's been going very well, at least from my perspective. I personally find it incredibly rewarding to be meeting all of our district captains, especially having the face-to-face contact has been really great. I'm incredibly impressed with the people that we have as district captains. The breadth of experience and enthusiasm and knowledge and interest is really, it's inspiring me. So I want to thank all of the people going through the training program for doing that, because you've re-inspired me by getting to know you. I also want to thank all of our trainees for their patience. This was, and I'm sure I've mentioned it to all of you, those of you who are on here, this was something that you were kind of our guinea pigs, especially the 4 of you who are on right now. My 4, like front runners as far as getting through the program, Vic, David, Larry, and Mindy, who all the reason they're on this call is they're the only 4 new district captains that have gone through the first 2 modules already. They're like speeding through it, which is fantastic. But they've been my guinea pigs, because they've had to kind of bear with me with the growing pains, since this is sort of all coming out of my head and kind of getting modified as we go along. So I want to thank them for their patience. And again, I just want to thank everybody for their willingness to go through this. I'm hoping that it's a helpful experience for everybody, and I'm happy to be doing it. That's
Well, thank you, Rachel. I have gotten nothing but positive feedback on the job that you're doing with this training program. And so I want to thank you for what you're doing. And once again, I just want to say that I wish we had this back when I started in Convention of States. It would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of effort. So believe me, folks, this is something. This is a very good thing, I believe, and we're very fortunate to have Rachel putting this together and heading this up. I do want to say that as far as the existing district captains that have not responded as yet, you do need to respond. I will be following up with you. This is a requirement. And we want to take this opportunity to get everybody back starting at the same point. And so for existing district captains, this is a requirement. So if you haven't contacted her, please do so, and because I will be contacting you about this. All right. Anybody have any questions for Rachel, or any question about the training program? All right.
I think Rachel's doing a bang-up job.
Thank you. Who was that? Victor? Oh, okay.
No, that was David.
David,
No.
I'm sorry. Okay, David. Thank you. Good. All right. I want to go on now, and I want to give you a little breakdown. We try to do this every month also. What you see here are the regions in our state. We have 9 regions, and what I do is I list then the districts. I hope you all can see this okay. All the districts that are assigned to each region. And what I've done here is I've highlighted in red all the existing district captains, and in yellow are all the district captains that are new and that are in training right now. And like I said, I've probably already missed 1 or 2 because we seem to be adding daily new district captains, and believe me, that's a good problem. That's what we're trying to do. Now, what I wanted to show you here at the bottom of this tracking summary, or this region breakdown, rather, you know, in our mission, in our mission statement, one of our goals is to achieve 70% district captains in our state by the end of this year. Now, that 70%, that means 70 district captains, since we have 100 districts in the state. So on a region breakdown, that means, for example, in Region 1, we need to have 8 district captains if we're going to achieve this goal. Region 2, 8. Region 3, 8. So on and so forth. Here in Region 7, we need 10 district captains. In other words, the 70% mark, okay? Well, what we have remaining, in order to achieve that 70%, what we have remaining then in Region 1 is 6, Region 2, 7, 4, 2, on and on. So that's what we need to still accomplish and put in place in order to achieve the 70% district captain goal. So just some information there for you. As far as region captains are concerned, obviously we want to get one region captain for each region. Right now we only have 2, Region 1 and Region 3. So we're going to be looking for region captains in all these other regions. So you existing district captains and new district captains, if you have any aspirations of becoming a region captain, we certainly want to talk to you. I definitely want to talk to you. Okay. Support position.
I threw my hat in the mix.
Is that David?
Yes, sir.
All right, David. I'm aware of that. Thank you. Support positions. We wanted to fill 10 positions, and we have 8 of them filled. So there's only 2 more positions that we're actually looking for to fill the support side of our operation. So, anyone have any questions about this breakdown? Any comments or questions? Someday I want to see the majority of this breakdown being in red. That's what I want to see someday. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're on our way. Okay. Next thing I wanted to share with you is an organizational chart for the state of Indiana. Now, I want to tell you a little story. I went to a meeting last September in Nashville, Convention of States meeting. One of the things we talked about there at the meeting was organizational structure for each state. And I thought about that. I thought about that all during that meeting and all the way home on the drive and for days afterward. I thought about that. I knew in my mind that we had an operations side and we had a support side to our structure. But for the life of me, I could not figure out how to get all that on one piece of paper. And I struggled trying to get that done. Well, when our training program started, I told Rachel, I said, we need to have an organizational chart. And I can't get it on one page. Within a matter of few hours, she came up with this chart. And I have been in awe ever since then. It took me days struggling to do this, and I never did come up with it. And here in a few hours, she came up with this chart. So once again, Rachel came through. But very quickly, just so you know, we got the state director. We got Rachel here as the administration and services director. Then we have the support side of our operation, and we have the operations side of our structure in Indiana. On the operations side, we have the region captains and district captains. The operations side, this is the front line. This is where we interact with with supporters and with the public. And to support the operations people, we have various support people. Coalitions director, that is one of the positions we're still looking to fill. SIA, State Information Analyst, State Communications Coordinator. Jerry Rowe and Tim Heidenreich are our SIAs. State Communication Coordinator is Ken Kashuba. Grassroots Coordinator is George Ward. Legislative Liaison is Paul Phillips. and then we have then the various teams that are associated with those support groups, support personnel. So that's our state structure. I just wanted to share that with you, and in case anyone's wondering about that. Okay, legislative. Let's talk about the legislative update. And Paul, are you on?
Yes, I'm here. My camera's coming online.
There he is.
All right.
Paul has put out a video for what are you at? You're module 3 of the training?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and that's a super video that he's put together. This is you want to talk about this, Paul, or you want me to talk about this?
The chart in front of us, what we're trying to do, this is a sample. This isn't the finished product, but
right.
To track meetings that district captains or region captains have with the legislators. So we're going to build this spreadsheet which has each district captain on it and identify their respective legislators, and then document when they have a meeting. And the whole process for conducting the meeting and documenting it, that's all covered in the training. But as we get those reports of those legislative meetings, we're going to have it tracked in the spreadsheet, and then we can review it once a month on this webinar.
Okay, good. This is something I requested of Paul to put together. I'm big on tracking reports, as you can see in these calls. So I wanted to know where we are on our legislative contacts. So we're going to refine this, and then of course share it with you on our call. So okay, Paul, you want to go ahead and
Sure.
Bring us up to date on anything else then?
Well, yeah, we're rolling out our legislative plan, which we're calling 34 Ready. We want to have Indiana ready for that 34th state to pass the Convention of States resolution. So the training is all focusing on this, on training the district captains how to meet with the legislators and have, I'll call it a 34 Ready conversation. So we don't need to ask them to support Convention of States because it's passed. So we're going to focus on talking with them about the commissioner selection process, the commissioner instructions, and then maybe some potential amendments that the legislator would like to see. Rachel's doing a great job of bringing folks through the training. She's already passed 7 district captains on to me. And of those 7, 4 have already completed the video portion of our training, and I'm going to be scheduling a follow-up live web conference with them just to finish things up and answer questions, and then pass them on to George.
Good deal. Good deal. So Module 4 will be George and State Grassroots Coordinator, and then I think probably in Module 5, I think the plan is to have the comms, our State Communication Coordinator, involved in Module 5. But anyway, all right. Anything else, Paul? Then?
No, unless anybody has any questions.
Anybody have any questions or comments on our legislative effort? Okay. All right. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Sure.
As far as our comms team, I don't see that Ken has made it on. So, like I said, he's on the road tonight. He said he would try, but he didn't know for sure that he could make it. So we'll go on then. John, are you on? I didn't see John Ackerman on this evening either. But I know we got things working in our comms team. I don't know if you all, if you don't, you should go on and look at our Facebook from time to time, our Facebook page, Convention of States Project Indiana. John Ackerman's getting more and more postings on our Facebook page. Thomas Hoff, one of our part-time videographers, is going to be starting to interview some of our new district captains, and I think he's got David Thornton lined up for an interview. So that'll be some content that he'll be providing to us. And,
next Saturday.
Next Saturday, is it? Okay, cool. And, of course, our new media liaison, Nancy Paul, will be joining in on this team once her training is completed. So we got some good things going on our comms team, and you're gonna start seeing and hearing more and more from this team. They're doing a great job, and so we're very happy with their progress. Anybody have any questions about the communications team? All right, cool. All right, well, I want to end our call this evening with a quote, as I normally do. You know, we've been talking about leaders this evening, and and I thought let me find a good quote with regard to leadership. And I came across this Ronald Reagan quote: "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things." And I just thought that was such a great quote for since we're in the midst of developing new leaders. And I just thought that was so very good. I want to close this evening with just another comment that I wanted to make about the training program that we're involved in and how exciting this is. Believe me when I say that we're one of the few states that are doing this. Indiana's one of the few doing this. There are other states that have seen the necessity to have this type of a program, but we're kind of, just a minute, I got to get my TV turned off here. But I think we're leading the way. We're in the lead on this, and I just want to once again tell you how exciting it is to me. I think we're going to definitely realize the benefits of this training later on as we go down the road. So, folks, we are truly rebuilding the state of Indiana, and I'm glad to have all of you on board. So with that, does anyone have any comments or any questions before we call it an end for the call tonight? Going once, going twice. All right. Our next call will be, as usual, on the fourth Wednesday of every month. So our next call will be April 25th. I hope I got the right date. April 25th, fourth Wednesday, 8 p.m. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining in tonight, and keep up the good work. We're headed in the right direction. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
April 25th at 4 p.m.?
At 8 p.m.
Oh, 8 p.m. Okay, I just want to make sure I get that right.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.